welcome back. I wanted to pop on here and kind of show you guys how to make some Christmas candy, but not just any candy or treats. I've been seeing all over social media for the last month or so these different treats using the Little Debbie Christmas snack cakes. Now, I have to admit, I do like these, so I tried to avoid them because they're really not that great for you. But I thought, let's go ahead and try to make these and see how they turn out. So I've seen a lot of different variations, so I kind of have my own interpretation of it that we're going to give a whirl. I haven't tried them, so this will be an experiment, but I'm going to show 3 different ones. So we're going to do the Christmas tree crack, like the Christmas crack, which I have not made. We're going to make a dip, and then we're also going to make cake truffles. So hopefully this video won't be too long, but we're going to try to hit all 3 of them all in one. And that way, if you're sitting around and you're ready to put up the Christmas tree and you want some little sweet treats to have while you're doing that, maybe with a cup of coffee or some hot cocoa if you've got little ones or grands or whatever, and you can just kind of enjoy a little nibble here and there, because I think they're probably going to be pretty sweet. So so you won't want to eat very much at once, I'm sure. So I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees, and we're going to start with first things first. So I've got a sheet tray. This is just your typical like half sheet tray, typically used in restaurants. They also have the quarter trays, which are the little ones. These are probably more common for people at home. I love these. They work great. I use them for so many different things. So you can usually get these at Sam's, Costco, Amazon, or a restaurant supply store if you have one in your area that is open to the general public. So, but we're just going to use this. If you don't have one, you can just use a big cookie sheet, just something that's, you know, a decent size. And then we are going to cover this in foil. And I am actually going to put some more foil, because if I don't, that toffee is probably going to run between the pan and the foil and cause a lot of sticking. So we're going to do this. If you have the big foil, then that's even better. Then you can just put one piece, but this is what I have. So okay, and then we're just going to spray this with just whatever kind of spray you have. I just have some avocado spray. There we go. So I've just got a saucepan here, just a small one. And if your butter's room temperature, that's going to work faster for you, but I forgot to set some out, so mine is cold. So I'm just going to turn the fire on and get my butter melted before I add the brown sugar, because if I don't, that's going to cause a problem. Okay, so that's going to melt, and then while that is melting, then we're going to get our layer on our sheet here. Now, all the recipes that I saw, they either used graham crackers or they used saltine crackers, but I decided I wanted to try cookies, but cookies tend to be a little too thick, so I found this brand of cookies. They have a website that you can order direct from. I actually found these on Amazon. So, you know, either way, you might even find them in some grocery stores. I don't know. I know none of my grocery stores carry it. But it's just kind of a simple little, like a sugar cookie, but it's really thin. So, and that's what I wanted, was just a thin cookie. So they're probably about 1/8 of an inch or so. You can see kind of how big they are. So we're just going to lay these on our sheet. My butter is melted now, so we're just going to add the brown sugar. It's 1 cup, and I just lightly packed it in there. And this is dark brown sugar. So we're just going to give this a stir. And we're just going to keep kind of stirring this until it kind of dissolves. And then we're going to bring it to a boil. So once it starts to boil, then you're just going to let it boil for 3 minutes, and you're not going to stir it during that time. And I just have my fire on medium heat. Alright, so it's been 3 minutes, but we're not there yet. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now we are going to very carefully pour this over. You do not want to get this on you because it will melt your skin. And then I'm just going to just try to kind of spread it out a bit here. We're going to pop this into our 400-degree oven for about 4 minutes. So while that is doing its thing, we're going to go ahead and start on our next one, which is the cake truffles, or cake balls, however you want to describe it. Flip my page this way. Okay. So we are going to use 1 box of the trees. And I'm just going to break them up a little bit before I put them in my stand mixer. 5 in a box, so we put all 5 in there. And then we're going to just put the paddle attachment on. And then just kind of beat these up as soon as I plug it in. Those are all beat up pretty well. And then I'm going to go ahead and get some water in my double boiler. If you don't know what that is, it's just a pot that has another pot that fits right on there, just like that. Okay. But if you don't have a double boiler, then you can just take a small saucepan, put a little bit of water in the bottom, like an inch or so, and then put a metal bowl over that. All right, so the timer has gone off. I'm going to set the cookies with the caramelized toffee on top of the stove. So we're going to get the water going here. And then you can see it's just all kind of mushed together. So we're just going to use a cookie scoop to scoop these out. So I just kind of have the small one. So we're just going to scoop, and then we're just going to roll these into a ball. And then I've got a sheet tray, a small one, with some parchment paper, so we're just going to set them on there. Get that out of the way. I'm going to scoop several and then roll them. So I'm going to use the Gary Berry white chocolate, but you could use almond bark as well if you want. So I don't think I'm going to need the whole bag, so I'm just going to put about 3/4 of it in there. This is a 10-ounce bag, so we'll probably put about 6-7 ounces in there, and we'll see if that is enough. So our little cake balls are nice and chilled, and our chocolate is melted, so I'm just going to drop one in, and using 2 forks, I'm just going to kind of move it around to kind of coat it. And then you just kind of want to tap off some of that chocolate, and then we're just going to lay it there. So I've got just a little bit left. So I've got some red gel, food coloring, and it's pretty strong, so we're going to start off with just a couple of drops and see where that gets us. So for your chocolate, you want to use either a gel or a powder. Don't use the little teardrop looking that's just liquid. Now you could put this in a parchment piping and pipe it on, but at this point I think it's okay just to do kind of a drizzle, so just like what we did with the white chocolate. So we're just going to kind of, okay, Well, we're just going to let these set up. So now we're going to make a dip. So we're going to use 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese. And mixer, I'm going to, because my cream cheese is pretty soft, so I'm just going to see if I can't just use this route. Okay. And then we want just a little bit of vanilla. And I'm going to use the clear vanilla. So just 1 teaspoon. And we're also going to add just a little bit of milk. So we're going to start with just 1 tablespoon of milk. And then if we need more, we'll add more. There we go. So for this size, I want these a little finer. I don't want giant chunks. You could choose to do bigger chunks if you want, but I want smaller chunks. So what I'm going to do is chop them up. Let's go ahead and add the other tablespoon of milk. And then we are going to add a tub of Cool Whip, or just a frozen whip topping of your choice. And we're going to put most of it in to start, so we can get it. We're just going to kind of fold in the remainder so we don't beat all the air out of it. All right, so I'm going to put this in the fridge, and then we're going to check on the toffee so we can finish that up. Okay, so let's get started on finishing up our Christmas tree crack. So in my stand mixer, set this over this way. There we go. So I'm going to add 8 ounces of room temperature cream cheese, and then 4 cups of powdered sugar. There's one paddle attachment on here, and beat this. And then we're going to add a teaspoon of clear vanilla. So in here, I'm also going to add some marshmallow fluff or marshmallow cream. So we want 1 cup. So I just lightly greased a measuring cup. So hopefully it'll make it easier to get this out. Nice and gooey. When I have hot cocoa, this is what I prefer instead of actual marshmallows. This is what I like to put in my hot chocolate. Okay. So even though this is 7 ounces, that's by volume, by weight, sorry. So you want to actually measure it out. And then we're just going to take this. And look at that, it cleaned out really easy. Probably should have greased my little spatula too. So, oh well. All right, and we're just going to mix that in. And pour it. I need a bigger spatula. I'm just going to pour this over. Now I'm just going to use this to just spread it out. Sorry, delivery guy's probably here. I'm going to put this into the freezer for probably 20 minutes or so. I want this to get really cold so then I can pour the melted chocolate on top of it. Okay, so our crack is in the fridge. I didn't have room in the freezer, so it's in the fridge. I've got the double boiler going, so I'm going to add this whole 10-ounce bag, and then the little bit that we had left over from our pink truffles, which was probably about 2 ounces. We're just going to add that to it as well. So we're going to get that melted, and then once it's melted, we'll spread that over the top. All right, so our chocolate is all melted, and this has kind of, it's set up, probably set up as best as it's going to, since it has marshmallow in it. So I did dry off the bottom of my pan because it was covered in water from the steam, so you don't want to drip that onto your dish. Now I'm just going to pour this on, and then we're just going to spread it out with our spatula. Since that was cold, it's going to help this chocolate to set up faster. Okay, all right. And then we're just going to hit it with some green and some red sprinkles. Actually, instead of the, well, here, we'll put the green on, and then we're going to hit it with a different sprinkle. I have these Christmas looking sprinkles. It has little trees and some other stars and stuff, so we're just gonna do this. If you had that gel coloring in the little tube that's actually red, then you could kind of do your squiggles on there. So we're just gonna go this route. Now I'm gonna pop this back into the refrigerator just so it can set up 10 minutes, and that should do it. Okay, so here is our pan of the Christmas tree crack. It was only in the fridge for like 5 minutes, and the chocolate is completely set up. So, but I think it looks pretty. So you can kind of see. Looks nice. So I'm just going to use a knife. And let's see. Yeah, we're just going to use a knife and just kind of cut through it. Because we've got that center that's going to be the gooey soft part, so you got to get, ooh, there we go, all the way through to the other layer. So you just break it. Ooh, and it definitely wants to slide around. So let's just what I'm going to do is just kind of actually put this on a kind of a display. So think of like your charcuterie board, but for dessert. So we're going to take some of the dip, and we're just going to put the dip to our bowl here. And then let's just sprinkle it with a little bit of red and green sprinkles. There we go. So we can set that over there. And then we've got our little cake balls. So we can add those. You can add those in 2 different groups if you want. And then we've got some of the cookies that were left over from the crust. So we're going to add some of those. And then we've also got some of the Oreo thins. So these are like the really thin ones. And you could actually use these for your the bottom of your crack as well. So because they're about as the same thickness as these cookies. So you can add some of those. Let's just go this way. And then we're just going to take some of the crack. It's pretty messy, so you might even want to put it, before you served it, maybe even put it in the freezer and let it harden up as much as it will. So you can just kind of set it up however you want. You could even add, you know, maybe some fruit or something in there, or some nuts, just something to kind of cut through all of the sugar if you wanted to. So, all right, so let's give this a try. So we've got our control. Since I've had one of those, so it's been a while since I've had sugar. So, okay. So we're just gonna go in with some of this dip. I can still taste the cream cheese just a little bit in the dip. I don't really get that much of the actual cake flavor. I know it's there. I just don't, it's not real apparent. It's good. It'll make a good, you know, cookie dip. It doesn't taste overly sweet, but you can taste the cream cheese. And then you know that there's Cool Whip in it. So I would probably, if I made this again, I would probably use mascarpone cheese instead of cream cheese, just so it has more of a neutral flavor. And then I'd probably just do the rest the exact same way. So let's go with one of the little cake. Now these you can actually, it tastes more like the actual cake. It is pretty sweet, even though it's just the cake dipped in chocolate. The crack. It is super, super sweet. You really don't, the filling in the chocolate just disappears because the toffee, it has such a strong molasses because we use dark brown sugar. I think if you were going to make it, I would go with a light brown sugar so that it's not as strong, but it's so sweet. It's super sweet. I think you really just get the toffee flavor. Everything else disappears. So I probably wouldn't make this again. It was pretty involved, even though every video I've seen makes it look like easy peasy, you know. But I would probably just stick to just the plain crack with just like the saltine crackers, the toffee, the chocolate, maybe some nuts on top. I think that would be better. I think the idea of this was great. I just don't think it's really a winner. But you can be the judge. I just think it's very, very sweet. So, and I like sweets, but it's really too sweet for me. But the dip actually is definitely the least sweet of these three. But this looks beautiful. So I'll probably put it in the freezer and see if I can't get it frozen and then break it up and then just put it in an airtight container, and I'll probably just haul all of this to my work office and let everybody have at it, or maybe my husband's. It may be too sweet for everybody in my office. So, but anyway, I thought the little board was cute. So I would definitely, if you made this, I would add like maybe some fruit and some nuts, maybe some strawberries or some grapes or some orange slices, and then maybe some nuts there, just so it's not all sickening sweet candy. You wouldn't want this for just a couple of people. You would definitely, you know, if it was a big crowd, then everybody's going to take a nibble or two and they'll be done. So, but now we know. I think I'm going to keep my little Debbie's to just the cake itself, and that's where it shines, and it kind of gets lost everywhere else. So, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do try it, leave me a comment. You know, if you've tried it before, leave me a comment and let me know what your thoughts were about it. And I hope you have a wonderful holidays. Till next time.